This is a quick video tutorial to show you how to sew your own boot shapers to keep your knee-high boots looking new. You need a couple of measurements from your boots. The first is going to be around the circumference of the ankle of your boot on the outside. You then want to measure the height of your boot from above the rubber sole all the way to the top of the boot. You are then going to cut out two rectangles, one for each boot. The length of the rectangle is going to be the height that you measured plus 5 inches, and the width of the rectangle is going to be the ankle circumference you measured. The ribbon loop is not necessary to get these in and out. You can get them in and out without it, but I do think it makes it just that little bit easier, and I think it just adds a nice detail. If you want to add the ribbon loop to yours, I suggest cutting a piece of ribbon about 8 inches long. You're then going to fold the fabric right sides together along the long edge. For a little extra security, you might want to add some markings like I did. If you are adding a ribbon loop, this is the time that you're going to want to put it in. So fold your ribbon in half and then tuck it inside between the two layers on one of the short ends. And then just stitch around starting from one of your folded corners with a 1/2 inch seam allowance till you get to 1/2 inch from the next corner. You're then going to want to pivot, keeping your needle down, rotating your fabric 90 degrees, sewing to where you've got your mark, and then do a back stitch there just to make it a little bit more secure. Start your seam again then 4 inches from that point, making sure to back stitch at the beginning, go along to the next corner, again, needle down, pivot your fabric 90 degrees, and sew all the way to the end. To create neat little box corners, you're going to take your fabric that's been folded in one direction and you're going to be pulling it in the opposite direction in a 3D plane. So you're going to be taking two sides on the front and back of your fabric, pulling it out to create a triangle point with your corner at the top. You want to make sure that your seam is going directly from the tip of the triangle straight down the center. Press that nice and flat, pressing your seams open, and you then want to mark a line 1 inch down from the tip of the corner, and that is going to be the line that you're going to sew. You then repeat for the 3 other corners and then just sew along the stitch line on all 4 corners, making ssure to back stitch at the beginning and end. To help get neater corners, it is useful to then trim those corners down to about 1/4 inch from the seam that you just did. You are then going to use the gap that you left in the side seam to push all the fabric through to turn it right sides out. Now is a good time to do all these steps with the other boot shaper if you haven't already. You now need to fill your boot shapers. I decided to use cedar wood chips, but you could also fill these with any kind of stuffing you might use for stuffed animals. You could stuff these with small fabric scraps, really anything that's going to help them maintain the shape. You then just need to close the gap by hand using a slip stitch, which is going to make a really nice, neat, invisible seam. And that is how you make your own bespoke boot shapers. They're going to keep your knee-high boots standing tall. If you would like a longer version of this video, there is a link down in the description box. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials and other videos, and I will see you soon. Bye!